All right, folks, let's talk about something. Let's talk about culling or killing fish, right? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I think it's something that's never talked about. And I'm walking around the aquatic experience before it opens up, and it's a perfect opportunity to talk about species and thriving and line breeding and hybridization. Is it good? Is it bad? I guess we really don't know, right? Everybody has their own opinion. But I can say if you're looking to keep a species specific to its own genetic lineage, you're gonna have to cull. And cull means kill. But the problem is we don't realize this as we're keeping fish, right? What do? What's the thought? The thought is, oh, I've got this tank, I've got an area for fish, and I'm just going to mix. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do because that's what I wanna do. And while I agree with that, you also have to have some forethought. And what's the forethought? Did you know those fish were going to have babies? And what were you gonna do with those babies? Were you gonna put them in more tanks and more tanks? Or are you gonna give them away? Or are you gonna be that big piece of polished turd that throws them in a pond or a lake somewhere and ruins indigenous population of fish? See, these are the thoughts that we don't have when we get in the aquarium hobby. And I encourage everyone to be in it. However, there are these thoughts that we have to have prior to anything else. So, let's say you want to keep African cichlids, or tetras, or betta fish, or flower horns, or whatever the case may be. That's fine, but just remember, if you're going to keep pairs or groups of male and female, there is going to be that possibility that you're going to have babies, and lots of them. This goes with any sort of fish keeping endeavor you decide, whether it's salt, planted, heck, even just a shrimp tank. These are the thoughts, or skateboarding. These are the thoughts that you have to have when you come into the hobby. And while nobody wants to talk about them, it needs to be done if we're going to be here 20, 30 years from now with the fish that we love. So, community fish, aquascaping, shrimp. If you don't get the desired color, what do? You cull them. If you don't get the desired fish out of a certain breeding group, what do? You cull them. And you cull them for specific reasons. It's not because you hate them. It's because ultimately you're being professional in what you are trying to achieve. Happens everywhere. Happens more so in some of these hybrid fish that you love so dearly. If they're not displaying a specific trait, guess where they go? A bunch of different places. But it's not to your tank unless you're raising them. So the idea that we have to have some sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say this lightly, but it's like some sort of heart, right? Like, oh, we can't kill that fish. It's not about that. It's not a savage thing, right? It's not what we mean in any way, shape, or form. But the idea is sustainability of a specific species. So when species go extinct, it's for many different reasons. It's humans, it's humans putting other fish that don't belong or other animals that don't belong. And maybe it has to do with topographical changes and maybe even certain climate shifts. Could be a bunch of different things. But the problem always lies on too much. Do I think that in the aquarium hobby we have too much? No. I think we do a good job of bringing in what we need and not overtaking. But if we're going to keep this thing we love going, then what do we got to do? Be professional and figure this out. So, the moral of this whole thing, if you decide that you want to keep a certain fish together with a mate and they have babies, have the forethought to know where you're going to put those babies, and more babies and more babies. And if you don't, you're going to have to make the justification to either cull or get them to a place to sustain that specific species. They have a genetic defect. Are you willing to take care of that fish? It's not evil if you cull if you're breeding. It happens. It happens in fish, dogs, birds, cats, everything. If you're looking for a specific breed, chances are the ones that are not tied to the specific lineage or specific strain, something happens to them. And it's not always the best thing for our emotions, but it's ultimately the best thing at preserving a specific species. That's why you're not supposed to mix a ton of stuff, but we're humans and we're animals and we're gonna do what we want, right? So take a moment and realize that this is something that may happen in your journey through fish keeping. And it's not to be a bummer of a video, it's just to mean there's a pond made out of salt boxes. Look at that. Isn't that cool? This isn't to be a bummer of a video. It's really not. The idea is this happens, and I want you to think about it. And I want you to understand it. Because if you're not understanding it, you could be in a crap situation. But if you're doing this as a job, or a means of income, so to speak, you may be faced with this. Let me know in the comments what you think. Culling, and I don't mean it in a savage way, but culling to preserve a species is ideal. If you don't agree with that, I am sorry. But it happens pretty much in every single culture, every single genre, and any single hobby that you are breeding. It sucks, but it's kind of the only way to make sure that it's sustainable. But let's leave on a lighter note. Life is riddled with junk, crap, just parasitic stuff that'll seep into your brain and hurt. It can make you depressed, it can make you have anxiety, it can make you think some crazy thoughts. But I want you to know that there are people out there that do care about you. There's a ton of people out there that care about you. And even if there's not a ton, there's always one. And that one person is rooting for you. They want you to succeed. And sometimes that person is right in here. So when you find yourself struggling, you may not have all of the answers, all of the money. But if you can get up in the morning, you've got enough in here and here to take care of any challenges. Nobody said it was easy. Nobody says things were supposed to be handed to you. What I'm telling you is it may require a little bit of grit. I'm rooting for you. You have cheerleaders on your sideline. And the idea is to get to the top of the hill, turn around, help a couple people up. And I saw something, and then I read something, and I listened to something, because that's how I learn the best. And the University of Texas, although I'm not a fan of any of their sports, has a motto: what starts here changes the world. It's true. What starts here, maybe at the aquatic experience, could very well change the world, because if you impact one person, think about it. However many subscribers I have, if I impact each one of them, which probably won't, but if I impact each one of them, and they impact each one, and they impact each one, do the math. I think I have like 25,000 subscribers. Times 5. We've impacted over 100,000 people. Just like that. Do you see how awesome this is? So do me a favor. Go out, smile, hold the door for somebody, say hello, high five, give a hug. Who cares? Enjoy life, seize your moment, and just remember, everybody's going through something. Everyone. Regardless of what they put on Instagram or the motivational stuff I go through stuff. It happens. I struggle every day. But the idea is, I want to outweigh my struggles. I want to rise to what I'm trying to achieve, and I've got a mission and I want to accomplish it. And the mission is to leave the world a better place than what I found it. And hopefully I'm doing that. And I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. So are you. But I encourage you to still try, because if you fall down, get back up, try again. That's how we learn. So, if you didn't come to the aquatic experience, you probably saw it behind me. They had some amazing stuff, from aquascaping contest to Awasa, the shrimp contest, Flip Aquatics, KG Tropicals was here, Primetime Aquatics, Fritz Aquatics. I mean, manufacturers, gingerbread corals, Wet Pets from Connecticut, Aquarium Co-op. Seriously. Current USA, Benson's Fish Room. You guys are really missing it. But I hope you enjoy your week. This is it. We can say, oh, tomorrow. Right now it starts. Change how you think about things. Prepare yourself for the future, whether it's fish keeping, life, your job, a new career, family, whatever it is. What you change right now, what you start right now could change your future. Well, it will change your future. So do it for the positive, do it for the better. And remember, there's always one person cheering you on. And right now, I could be that one person. You know what's